What's going on, everybody? Darren here from the Music Vault. Coming at you with a new segment on my channel that I'm going to call Head to Head. And I'm going to review the first album from a band and their very last album, their latest album from a band. And I'm going to compare the two. The first band that I'm going to do is not Rush. I thought that would be too obvious. So I've been really getting into this band a lot lately, and so I figured I would do this one. I wanted to do a death metal album first. I will do a Rush one, probably the next one or the one after. First one I wanted to do was Death, and that is their very first one, Scream Bloody Gore, and the one playing right now, Sounds of Perseverance. And I have it on this one on vinyl too, Scream Bloody Gore. So, just to give you a little bit of background, I'm not going to get too in depth of the background and the band members and all this. But with Death, they were formed in '83 by Chuck Schuldiner, and they started out as Mantis back in '83, '84, and then in '84 they changed over to Death to incorporate the style of music that that Chuck wanted to take the band into. So they're considered pretty much the godfathers of death metal. Chuck Schuldiner is pretty much the godfather of death metal. I find on Scream Bloody Gore there's a real heavy possessed influence. I hear it in the vocal style and the music. This is very much a death metal album, straightforward death metal vocals, death metal style. Everything is right down to the lyrics. Drink from the goblet of gore. That's right there. Yeah, straightforward death metal. It's an excellent album. I love this album. As you can see, Rick Rods, Chuck Schuldiner, and I don't know who that one was. That guy. On this album, Autopsy drummer and vocalist and that, Chris Reifert? Yeah, Reifert was the drummer on this one. Chuck Schuldiner, or Schuldiner, I think it's, and John Hand, who I no idea what other album or band he was ever in. The lyrics are very much gore influenced. Straightforward death metal. Now on this, you got what the name stood for, was death. Now if you compare it to the Sound of Perseverance, lyrical styles had changed drastically. When they started out, they were a gore death metal band singing about gore and death metal lyrics. Death and whatever came along with being ripped apart and all this kind of jazz. As they progressed, I think it was Human, I read, that's when he started to change his lyrical content to more philosophy and the human mind and existence and stuff like that, as opposed to the gore stuff. And with that, the music changed, became more progressive, a little more complex, a lot of time changes. Didn't necessarily become heavier, because Chuck has always had that signature guitar sound and he's extremely talented guitar player, as you can hear in the background when the bass kicks out and the drums. The vocal style changed drastically as well. I find that it went from a Jeff Becerra death growl thrash, like a, not really a thrash, but a death growl, because Possessed is a lot of people say that Possessed is the forerunner, or the the forerunner of early primitive death metal, one of the very first bands. And then I know that Chuck was very influenced by Possessed early stages, apparently. But with the change of vocal style, the vocal patterns, and that, to me, like when you listen to this, is more reminiscent of a Creator, like a Millie style of vocals, more higher end screech kind of, as opposed to the lower end guttural. This is a band that gives the typical progression that has stayed in one genre of music but progressed drastically and almost became two different bands within the same band, in my opinion, because Scream Bloody Gore is very much a death metal record. Death metal vocals, death metal lyrics, death metal sound, straightforward, fast drums, heavy guitar, nothing way out there. Although there are some progressive moments, like you can tell he was kind of a fan of progressive music probably all the way through his career. This one came out in '87, and by the time this one came out, and this was a few short years later, this came out in 98 or 99. That's only 12 years. They put out 7 albums, and by the time he had got to this, the natural progression of his musical taste and his musical style. Now, just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So his natural progression went from this, when he actually put Death on Hold in '99, to when he came out with this, Control Denied, which was progressive metal. Everything, see, the Fragile Art of Existence, like everything just became about the mind and maybe spirituality and philosophy and everything like that, like wondering why, how we're here, what we're doing here, why, who, whatever. So, which now there's all sorts of, progressive death metal bands, like technical progressive, and there's all sorts, like even Obscura kind of, to me, takes a page from these early death records that, now, as we all know, Chuck died in 2001 from a brain tumor, I believe. I mean, if he would still be alive now, I mean, who knows what type of music he would be. I think Control Denied would probably be a bigger band than just that one album. Because, like, really, he was to me, he was an innovator of, like, progression. Like, he totally progressed from Scream to the Sound of Perseverance. Like, it was like a night and day. Like I said, it was two different bands within one band. And on this one, like you had, I think, Richard Christie is drummer on this one. Scott Chamberlain? Scott, what's his name? Scott Clendenin, which is this guy right here. He's a bass player. The unfortunate thing is these two guys here are now passed away. Scott, as recent as 2015, and then Shannon Ham, and of course Richard Christie, who's now on the Howard Stern Show. Yeah, the lyrics are just very different. The music is very technical. Even the vocal, like I said, the vocal patterns, everything. Two amazing releases by an amazing band. I mean, there's nothing really more I can say. Great album covers. He's always had something cool to do with album covers. You know, I can't remember who did. I think these ones were done by Ed Ripka. I want to say, but I could be wrong. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it doesn't say. I think it's Ed Ripka. That's his style, but I could be wrong. Cover illustration by Edward J. Repka. Yeah. And I mean, he did stuff like Evil Dead. I think he did Leprosy and Spiritual Healing from this as well. So anyways, that is my head-to-head on Death. Both albums, I'd give this one 4 bloody skulls out of 4, or 5 bloody skulls out of 5. And this one I'd give 5 progressive skulls out of 5. You like the way I did that? Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, so that's it. That's what I planned on doing. Doing 2 head-to-heads like that. If you like it, let me know. Tell me that, you know, they can do some more. They'll get better and better and better as they go, because, you know, different bands and whatever. I'm hoping anyways, and I get a little bit more, do a little bit more research on the band and incorporate other things. If you want me to do some more, let me know, and comment in the bottom which bands that you'd like to see in my collection or whatever. Like I said, hopefully, like, I will get better and better at this as the more I do it. But anyways, this is the very first, I don't know, segment, and it was on Death. Okay, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you next video.